computer. There we go. Okay, and I will just go live on Facebook. Bear with us. Takes a few minutes, ladies. Bear with. Okay. I'm just going to link it to the Leading Ladies page.
Oops. Getting ahead of myself. Getting excited, look.
Share to a group. And we want to share to Leading Ladies.
Some technical wizardry going on.
I know, yeah, and I'm not a technical person in the slightest, so let's hope it works. Okay, right, it's preparing to stream the live meeting, so in a minute we should be live on Facebook, which looks like that is happening. Amazing.
Hooray!
Okay, right, brilliant. Thank you for that. So good evening, ladies, and welcome to another one of our masterclasses. I'm absolutely thrilled that lovely Carol is joining us this evening to, as it says here, give us some top tips on fueling right with her business, Nantwich Nutrition. Carol and I only met each other back in December, and I loved Carol's passion and enthusiasm for nutrition, and I think we could all do with some education in that sector, especially in the new year, new goals and so forth. So thank you so much for joining us, Carol, and over to you, my lovely.
Oh, well, thank you so much, and I'm so excited about this because you're right, this is my passion, it's my thing, I love it. You know, and as busy women, you know, leading ladies, running our businesses, running a family, kids, pets, everything else we've got going on in life, if there's one thing I know, getting your nutrition right makes such a difference to you keeping on top of everything. If you've got great energy and you're feeling amazing, then it makes everything so much easier. So that's really what tonight's call is all about. I wanted to talk to you as a leading lady. If you want to lead in your life, you've got to look after number one first, right? Otherwise you can't look after anybody else. So this is like my top 10 tips. I am going to whistle stop as much information that I can possibly squeeze in this call for you. So me in a nutshell, if you've not met me before, hi, my name's Carol Sinfield. And if I take you back, can you believe 25 years? I kind of stumbled into nutrition because I was competing for Great Britain in sport. I was on the Great Britain rifle team. That hilarious picture, make sure this goes no further. When I realized this was being streamed, I was like, oh Lord, no, they're going to see the hair. Honestly, I looked like I was a cross between a poodle and a sheep. It was bad. The dye only took on the curly bits that were permed. Oh, it was horrendous. And I was a student, so I didn't have the money to undo it after it had been done. So hilarious. Anyway, I managed to survive the hair incident. I did a medical degree in radiology and I started working in the NHS. So I've always been passionate about helping people improve their health. But that really needed to start with me because I was eating all day long. I was starving all day long. I was tired all day long. I was working crazy shifts in the hospital, between 8 and 14-hour shifts. My shift pattern changed every single day. I literally didn't know whether I was coming, going, eating, sleeping, because it was such a higgledy-piggledy week. And so I just basically ate to get me through the day. And as a consequence, my weight started going on. My body fat started creeping up. My energy was on the floor. I was tired all the time. And it was affecting my performance in my sport. So I was desperate to improve my sports performance and I needed a health result. And I stumbled across the way to change my nutrition that actually it just changed everything for me. I dropped a dress size. My energy went through the roof. I felt great. I'll show you my transformation in a minute. But as a result, it really opened the door to helping a few people in my spare time, and people were asking me what I was doing. And before I knew it, I kind of stumbled into a new career as a wellness coach. I actually quit my medical career. Here we are, fast forward on the 1st of March. Can you believe we're just 4 weeks away from my 25th anniversary? So 25 years doing this. I absolutely love it. And I got to tell you, I might be 25 years older than when I started, but I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm stronger, I'm fitter, I'm healthier. I'm approaching 50 now. You know, I got the whole menopause thing going on, which Claire and I just have hilarious conversations about. It's a nightmare, right? But I've got some solutions for you. And as a result, built a large team of wellness coaches and clients around the world. The thing's grown, and it's super exciting. And I just want to share with you a little bit of those tips that I've learned today. I own Nantwich Nutrition today, which is my little passionate baby that I'm working on at the moment. It's an amazing little nutrition club in Nantwich, and it helps people do this, get results. So here was me, ironically on the left, competing for Great Britain in sport, would you believe? I suppose I'd given myself a bit of ballast to shoot, so I wasn't going to move because I was a lump. But do you know what? There's like 20 something years between those two pictures. And yet, you know, I think I probably look younger in the second picture, 20 years older, ironically. So actually being the right way, getting the right nutrition for your body, I can tell you for a fact, it takes years off you. Absolute years off you, and you feel incredible. So I'm going to start with tip number 1. I'm going to remind you of what happens when your nutrition's just a little bit off point. And actually, I had to stop because this list could have taken the entire 45-minute presentation. But if anything on here looks familiar to you, maybe your nutrition needs a little bit of tweaking. You're struggling with concentration, tiredness, focus. If you feel your productivity is just a little bit off, you're struggling with your weight, or you're finding it's affecting confidence or self-esteem, you're struggling a little bit with sleep, or you've got some stuff cropping up with your health, like inflammation or digestive problems, painful joints, diabetes, headaches, anything like that. Honestly, the root cause could just be you're not getting your nutrition right. And honestly, I like the last line there. Honestly, I could go on all night. There are so many things in your body linked to your nutrition that you might not even realize are diet related. The fact of the matter today is 7 out of 10 visits to a doctor's surgery, 7 out of 10, diet related. What a statistic. So literally, if you walked into a doctor's waiting room, 7 out of 10 people wouldn't need to be there if they just addressed their nutrition. Wow. So that's for me where it starts. If you can get your nutrition right from the day, you feed your body. We're a vehicle at the end of the day. We're a machine, and we need the right fuel to get the job done. You can't get your car off the drive in the morning if you stick lemonade in the tank. Okay, wrong fuel, it's not going to perform. We're the same with our body. We put the wrong fuel in and our body does perform. It just underperforms. And sometimes we don't even realize how good we could feel because our body's been underperforming for years. And we've just got used to how it feels. We're used to having crappy energy. We're used to being tired all the time. We're used to feeling a bit hungry in between our meals and having a rumbly tummy. And actually, once you address your nutrition, all that stuff just melts away. And for the first time, you're not controlled by food. Imagine not thinking about food anymore because you're not hungry. You don't need to think about it. You've just got fantastic energy and you feel amazing. That's what we're all about. So here we go. Tip number 1 is create a healthy body composition. So the very first thing I want you to get your head around is I want you to think about, when you're thinking about your body, think about fat loss, not weight loss. Don't get fixated on your scales because your scales could be wholly misleading and really leading you up a garden path, because sometimes we're doing all the things right and we're exercising, we're eating really clean, and we jump on the scales and nothing's happened. And we're like, oh, I can't believe it. I'm working so hard. I'm doing all the right things. Why am I not losing weight? But actually, you could be changing your body composition, because a pound of muscle weighs a pound of fat weighs a pound, but a pound of muscle takes up 5 times less space. So if you lose 3 pounds of fat, you put on 3 pounds of muscles, your scales don't change. You get on, oh, I can't believe it, nothing's happened. Do you know what? A lot's happened. You probably lost centimeters, you got skinnier, you got healthier, and you had a massive beneficial change to your body composition. But if you're only going by the scales, you can't see it. So what you really need to do is you need to measure with a tape measure, because this shows fat loss. Okay, so a great example is these two ladies both weigh exactly the same, but they've got different amounts of body fat. So for us to be as healthy as possible, we want to drive down body fat, increase muscle, which makes our body more efficient. So most people have got, like the circle in the center, they've got, where's my cursor? Here we go. They've got some fat, some muscle, like a cross section of a leg, this is, bit of bone. And when you start to eat healthy, we want to reduce the fat, increase the muscle. The overall effect is you're smaller, tighter, toned, feeling really good. But most importantly, your muscle that you just built burns more calories. So that extra muscle speeds up your metabolism. Now you burn more calories. Now it's easier to keep the weight off. Okay? Genius. So actually, the more muscle you have, the more fat you burn and the slimmer you look. 1 pound of lean muscle tissue burns about 14 calories a day at rest. 1 pound of fat burns nothing to 2. Okay, very little. It's very inefficient. So remember, we're looking to drive down the fat, build the muscle. Okay, so that's the first thing about creating a healthy body. And here's a brilliant example of it. This girl lost a pound. Probably would have been a bit disappointed with that. But look at the transformation in her body shape, because she's lost fat, she's gained muscle. So even though there's only 1 pound difference in her scales, she's chuffed to bits with the result. She's slimmer, she's stronger, she's fitter. Okay, so don't get fixated on the scale. So that's my first tip. Now, fat comes in 2 different places, by the way, and I just wanted to make sure you understand this. You've got subcutaneous fat, which is this fat. Can you see my cursor, Claire? Yeah. So this fat on the outside, this is why most people want to lose weight. You know, the jeans are a bit tight. You kind of got that little rumply bit, or those little love handles on the sides, a little tire. And this fat, where's my cursor gone? There it is. This fat's actually not as scary as this fat. This fat inside is called visceral fat, and it sits in and around your organs. You can't see it. You don't know you've got it unless you have a body scan done. And it's nasty. It leaks toxins and nasty stuff 24/7. It squishes and squashes all your organs. You can see this all building up around this poor person's colon, around their liver, their heart, even building up at the back of the optic nerve, probably affecting this person's eyesight. Yikes. And this is the stuff that's life-threatening. This is the stuff that we want as little of as possible. And actually, most people never get to know what this is. This stuff we need to drive down, okay? So there's 2 places that fat can be stored. So I'll explain more about how we can look at that later. Tip number 2. Okay, so that said, oh my goodness, right, I've got it. I need to build some muscle. I need to drive down the fat, build up the muscle. How do I do that? Well, the first thing to do is make sure you're getting enough protein in your diet. So protein-rich foods, it can be a bit confusing. My coach said to me, are you eating enough protein? I was like, I don't know. How much should I be eating? So that's something you can have calculated for you. So you know your personal target of how much your body needs, and everybody's got their personal target. So where do you get protein? You get protein from things like meat, fish, cheese, eggs, soya, beans, lentils, tofu, nuts, those types of foods. So whether you're vegetarian, vegan, whether you're a meat eater, there are all kinds of protein sources. My advice is get protein from as balanced a sources as possible. And if you are vegetarian or vegan, you are going to need to be a little bit more creative, because of course you've got slightly less options to choose from. So it's very easy for people that are vegetarian and vegan to create their main meal, sit down to a lovely dinner, and actually there'll be very little protein in there at all, because it might be a vegetable-based dish or something like that that's really got very little protein. As a consequence, vegetarians tend to come up a little bit short on protein, which can mean 1, you're hungry, 2, your body fat starts to creep up and your energy starts to go down, and you find it quite difficult to maintain your energy levels. So if you know somebody like that, that might be somebody that I can speak to that might be able to help them up their protein intake a little bit. Okay. Tip 3, is stay hydrated. This is something we can all work on right from day one, because hydration is something our body is desperate for. Like, we're 70% water, so we need to be drinking water all day long. And do you know, just breathing, sweating, getting through a normal day, this is without going to the gym, you are going to lose 1.7 liters a day. Just talking, just sweating, just breathing, blinking, all that kind of stuff. 1.7 liters. Wow. So if you're thinking right now, yeah, I don't really drink any water, you're probably going to be pretty dehydrated by the end of the day. And here's another scary fact. Did you know 1 cup of coffee dehydrates you by 4 glasses of water? So if you're a big coffee drinker, you could be getting a real negative balance. Tea's not quite as bad, but it's still pretty dehydrating. Alcohol, the same. You know, alcohol is something that's going to dehydrate us really quick. So I don't know if some of you guys are doing like dry, it's very hard to say that, dry January. I know lots of people are doing that. So well done if you've chosen to do that. But there are lots of things that can actually dehydrate us. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we're fully hydrated. Again, every body has a water target, an amount of water based on body weight that your body needs. And that can be something that can be personally calculated for you. Even the tiniest bit of dehydration can affect our concentration. It can stop us losing weight. It can make us super tired. It can give us headaches, digestive problems, a whole host of stuff. So again, if anything looks familiar here, this is something to work on and up your hydration. Now, when I say up your hydration, I mean plain, boring, old corporation pop, right? Just plain water, not fizzy water, not flavored water, plain, boring water. Okay. Tip 4. So this is about looking after your bones. Okay. So healthy bone looks a bit like the inside of a crunchy. Unhealthy bone looks more like the inside of an aero. We want the crunchy bone. We want the more dense bone, the stronger bones to last us. And as women, we are prone to osteoporosis, not just a woman's disease. Men can get it too, but it's a much higher prevalence in women, and it is avoidable. So osteoporosis is definitely 100% something you can do something about, but do it now. Okay. So 2 massive things you can do to help with bone density. The first is weight-bearing activity. Anything like jumping, skipping, boxing, lifting weights, resistance bands, anything that puts your body under stress or causes impact. If you're jogging, that impact every time you hit the pavement, or you're skipping or you're boxing, causes osteoblastic activity. This means your bone, because it's getting impact, as a response, lays down more bone, and it makes your bones more dense. So this is one thing that you can do that's going to make a massive positive impact on your bones. The second thing is to make sure that you're getting enough calcium. It's kind of a bit of a myth, really, that you don't eat loads of dairy foods, have your milk, cheese, eggs. That's what I was always told. That's going to be really rich in calcium. But actually, when you're a child, yeah, you can absorb a lot of the calcium from dairy foods. But as we age, it becomes increasingly more difficult. Also, the calcium binds to fat that's in dairy foods, which makes it very difficult for the body to absorb. And worse, calcium's a non-driver, i.e., it can't get where it needs to go without vitamin D, which is this little taxi that takes it off around the body. So if you're ever going to take a supplement or something like that that's got calcium in it, make sure you always have calcium and vitamin D together, so the calcium can get where it needs to go. Because no point taking a calcium supplement if it can't be delivered directly to where it's needed. Now, here's the thing also. If you're not getting enough calcium in your diet and your body needs it, it will rob it from itself. If you need calcium in your diet, your body will steal it from your own bones, which is another reason that you can actually cause your own osteoporosis by your body leaching it and robbing it from your own bones. If you take any form of steroids, including asthma inhalers and things like that, they leach calcium from your bones, okay? So you definitely want to be taking some kind of a calcium top up. That's tip number 4. Tip number 5 is start your day right. So Some people skip breakfast, some people have breakfast, you know, some people have coffee and a fag. So what I'm going to talk about is the effects of breakfast. So whether you skip breakfast or whether you have something carbohydrate based, things like cereal, toast, porridge, fruits, they're very common British breakfasts. If you look at the shape of the graphs, they both kind of do the same thing in the body. And this isn't just breakfast. Use this analogy for any meal that you're eating or any snack that you're eating. If it's predominantly carbohydrate based, like your bowl of cereal or piece of toast in the morning, it causes your blood sugar to rise. Your body releases insulin. Insulin's job is it takes that excess sugar out of your blood. You store body fat, that's the yellow area. Your blood sugar comes crashing down. Mid-morning, 10 o'clock, you're like, oh my God, I'm starving. That toast didn't do it. What can I eat? I know I'm going to be healthy. I'll have a banana. Uh-oh, carbohydrates. Up you go again. Body releases blood sugar. Insulin takes the sugar back out of your blood. You store some more body fat. Blood sugar comes crashing down. You've only eaten a slice of toast and a banana, and you've stored fat twice, by the way. This is how weight creeps on. It doesn't creep on 74 donuts at a time. You can be eating a reasonably healthy diet. And this was me in the hospital. I wasn't eating donuts for every meal, you know, but I was having crunchy nut cornflakes for breakfast, you know, hands up. And what that was doing is it was setting off this chain reaction because I was starving when I got to work. I'd eat my entire packed lunch and then I'd get to lunchtime and I was hungry again because I'd eaten my lunch. So I'd buy another lunch and I was just consuming loads more carbohydrates than I needed because I was on this sugar roller coaster. This is where most people sit on a daily basis. They're either skipping, so they start hungry, and then the first thing they eat is carbohydrates. So it starts this cycle off. Or they start with carbs and they're on the roller coaster, hungry, tired, hungry, tired, hungry, tired all day long. Okay, so to break this cycle, because you need to break it, although this is the most common way to eat, it's also this way of eating is the biggest contributing factor to diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Okay, the three biggest killers in the UK. Okay, and it's eating out of balance because we're storing so many carbs doing this. And this could be a couple of ounces in the yellow area, a couple of ounces every single time. It's not like you'll be storing a lot of fat, but it's the compound effect. It all adds up. Okay, so I'm just going to terrify you. When we're talking about breakfast, here's how easy it is to consume vast quantity of sugar without even realizing. Okay, so play along at home. How many teaspoons of sugar do you think is in just a glass of orange? It's just a glass of orange. Your whole family probably has one in the morning. Your kids probably have one. How many do you think? Well, can you believe one glass of fresh orange has 5 teaspoons of sugar? And by the way, 110 calories. So beware when you're drinking. You can be drinking a lot of calories during the day, and that could be contributing to a reason. If you're wanting to lose weight and you find you can't lose weight, it could be you're drinking a lot of calories. So orange, 5 teaspoons. Simple breakfast, you know, you might go to a hotel, have a special little morning, a couple of croissants, cup of coffee, glass of orange, 14 teaspoons of sugar. Okay, toast and jam, coffee and orange juice, 13 teaspoons of sugar. You know, think again what your kids have for breakfast, because this is quite a common breakfast. Toast and jam, they're running out the door in the morning. Yikes. This is their little brain kicking into action, ready for school. They could be all over the place with this much sugar buzzing around in their heads, okay? Porridge, okay. Yes, but I have porridge and berries. It's very healthy, don't you know? Yeah, it's still 8 teaspoons of sugar. It's more than you think, okay? Bowl of cereal, 8 teaspoons of sugar, low calorie. So yeah, you're getting the low calorie, but here's the thing, that's for a 30-gram portion of cereal. And I don't know whether you've seen those little boxes that the kids eat, right? When you pour it in your bowl, you're like, is that it? You know, and most people would put a far bigger portion than that, which of course is going to have twice the calories. Okay, so that portion there, believe me, that's probably 70 or 80 grams of cereal. And this is a 30-gram for 8 teaspoons. So scary. And some people sprinkle the sugar on the top, right? we go. Oh, this is the classic. Are you ready? Oh, no, it's all right. I'm just going to grab something on the way to work. You grab a latte and a muffin. Yeah, Claire's jaw just dropped and hit the floor. You're going to get 28 teaspoons of sugar in a white chocolate latte muffin. This is more sugar than you should be eating in a whole day. Okay. And it's so easy to get just like that in one. That could be a snack during the day. It might not even be a meal. Okay. So what should you have for breakfast? Well, the first thing is you've been asleep for 7-8 hours. Your body's used up all the nutrition, creating all of those new little cells it's building in your body. And so when you wake up in the morning, your body is at empty. You need a breakfast that's going to supply your body with all the essential nutrients, water. It's going to hydrate you. It's going to balance your blood sugar and your energy levels and help you maintain muscle mass, because the muscle is what gives us energy. It gives us our vavavoom. It also helps us keep our shape and keep slim. Here's what it also does to your blood sugar. When you get protein for breakfast in the morning, protein releases the opposite hormone to insulin called glucagon. Insulin turns us into a fat storing machine. Glucagon turns us into a fat burning machine. Now we're off on a different foot. It means we're going to be burning far more calories all day long. It keeps our blood sugar in normal limits. We're not on that great roller coaster. So you think about food far less. You've got that little voice stops yakking in your ear saying, "Oh, hungry, what else can I eat?" And you know, so protein for breakfast is the solution. But if you go for something like bacon, eggs, you know, like a traditional cooked breakfast, we know it's got packed full of protein. Yes, also packed full of fat and calories. So you can't do that on a daily basis if you want to keep weight off and you want to look after your heart. Otherwise, you're going to end up with cholesterol problems and a whole cocktail of other stuff going on. So it's getting a breakfast that's protein rich, but isn't packed full of fat. Okay, tip number 6, check your labels. Okay, isn't it a minefield? You go to the supermarket, you're left scratching your head thinking, goodness me, I've no idea what to buy. What's healthy? What's not healthy? And you end up coming out of the supermarket after 45 minutes with a cucumber. Okay, let me answer a few confusing things. So what are you looking for on the labels? Well, a nutritious, healthy food wants to have some protein, a little bit of fiber, wants to be reasonably low calorie, and watch the sugar content, okay? So the carbs are something to look out for. When you're looking at fats, it depends where the fat's coming from, okay? You definitely don't want trans fats, you don't want hydrogenated fats, but some fats are good. So fat is not the enemy. You're not trying to reduce fat or eliminate fat from your diet. Fat's a macronutrient. So our body needs a balance of about 40, 30, 30. 40% complex carbohydrates, 30% lean protein, and 30% healthy fats. So healthy fats might be things like the fats that you would find attached to meat or in fish, like omega-3s. It could be the fat that you might consume when you're eating an egg, or the fat in nuts. They would be healthy fats. Okay, so what do I look for on labels? Well, the biggest thing I'm looking for on labels is actually carbohydrates, which is actually a tip that I'm going to give you a little bit later on. I should have put it here actually, because it makes more sense here. So I'm going to tell you it now and then I'll recap it later. So here's what I look for on a label when I'm looking for carbohydrates. Total carbohydrates divided by 5 is the number of teaspoons of sugar equivalent in that food. Total carbohydrates divided by 5 is the equivalent number of teaspoons of sugar in that food. Try this next time you go to the supermarket. You probably won't buy pasta again. Yikes. Foods don't need to be sweet to be carbohydrate rich. So here's the advice for you. All carbohydrates, regardless of their source, turn to sugar in the body. All carbohydrates. So this is bread, rice, pasta, potatoes, vegetables, fruit, salad foods. all carbohydrates turn to sugar in the body. Our body then either utilizes that sugar for fuel, or it goes, oh, that's brilliant. I don't need it right now. I'm going to store it for you for later. Aren't I helpful? Hips, thighs, bomb. Not very helpful. Thank you. Okay. And when do we eat our more carbohydrate rich meal? Tends to be our evening meal, right? That's when we're having our potatoes, our pasta, or our big portion of carbs. What do we tend to be doing in the evening? That's when we're goosed, right? We finally get the chance to put our feet up. We're not going to be burning those calories. Guess what we're doing with them? We're storing them. Okay. So eating starch late in the evening is probably one of the worst things. So check your labels, see how many of those starchy carbs are on there. And let's see if we can drop your carbs back a bit. I'm not saying eat carb free, but I'd rather get carbs from something like vegetables and fruit, which are lower calorie per bite, than getting them from starch-rich foods like bread, rice, pasta, or potatoes. Okay. Next, dining out. Oh, what a minefield. Listen, we don't want to not go out. We don't want to avoid friend engagements and go, oh no, I can't really come to that party because, I don't know what the food's going to be like. You can still eat out and you can still eat healthy. It's just knowing what to order off the menu. And everywhere's kind of got something healthy option wise. So here are my best dining out tips. First, before you go, have a big glass of water. Like, have a couple of pints before you go out. What it'll do is it'll fill a portion of your tummy so you won't get to the restaurant and be absolutely starving. Because the first thing that happens when you go to the restaurant is you're going to over order, because you're going to go, I'm so hungry now, I'm definitely having a starter. You hadn't planned to have a starter, but now you're there and you're hungry. I can't wait, I've got to eat. You're going to, trough probably 2 or 3 courses when actually one would have done the job. Okay, so that's one option. The next thing is get them to hold the bread basket. If you have a bit of a bread issue like me, like I can't stop at one piece. I don't know what it is about bread, but it's like kryptonite. You have one mouthful and you're like, oh, that's it. Got to have the whole basket. So better not to bring the basket in the first place so you're not distracted. Okay. Another thing, when you finished your meal, get them to take your plate away straight away. Have you ever finished your meal and you're like, no, I'm full, I feel great. And then you go, and you're chatting and you're looking and those chips are still looking at you. And before you know it, you're picking again, you're picking the chips. And now you just ate another 500 calories you weren't planning on. Okay, more tips. When you're reading the menu, think about how they describe how they cook things. If it's deep fried, if it's crispy, if it's creamy, if it's sauteed, all of those ways of cooking, high fat. Okay. If it's baked, if it's, oh God, my mind's gone completely blank.
Grilled,
broiled, if it's steamed, anything like that, much healthier. Okay, so look at the way it's been cooked. Find out what the portion size is. So generally meats give you an ounceage size, which is pretty good. And you're looking for plenty of protein. That's the bit that's going to fill you up. So another little tip for you. A lot of people think, but the reason I want the pasta and the potatoes on my plate, that's what fills me up. That's what fills my tummy. Guys, it's not. It's actually the protein that's sending a message to your brain that you're not hungry anymore. Okay, so the bigger the piece of protein, the better. So you're better off with, like, for example, a big steak and salad than you are with a small steak and a big portion of chips. Okay, you're going to be fuller with the more protein-rich meal. For desserts and things like that, a sorbet is going to be a lot lower calorie than an ice cream. Often they have a fruit for a dessert, or you might choose not to have a dessert, but order something so you don't feel like you're missing out. You could have a peppermint tea, which is a brilliant digestive. It's light, it really aids digestion, and you feel like you're having something where other people are eating if you're wanting to curb your calories. The other thing with dining out, booze. Yeah, it's the alcohol, isn't it? It's tricky. In respect of time, because I got a million things that I could share with you on this, I'm just going to give you a few key pointers. Real ale's probably got your highest calories of the beers. Your cocktails, champagne and prosecco, sorry, really high in sugar, super high in sugar. They're the ones that are going to be like the big calorie additions to your week. You're actually probably better off with like a gin and slimline tonic or something, or make it into a long drink. Have a gin, but with a long a double tonic or something like that. So you just drink it slower. Always have a glass of water in between your alcoholic drinks. Just again, it means you drink less, and it sort of lengthens your evening. Or do what I do, be the driver. That's easy, isn't it? And then you've got a really good reason not to drink without all your friends going, go on, have one. Or you could do, dry February, and then you could do, dry March, and then you could do maybe dry April. Okay, right. Next up, we have, hang on, exercise. Right. Quick tips on exercise. So if you're doing steady state cardio, like it could be running, it could be on the bike, it could be on a cross trainer, it could be walking, and you're walking at about the same pace and you're doing your thing. Do you know what? It's going to take at least 29 minutes for your body to start fat burning. Now, I don't know about you, but 29 minutes after I've been on an exercise bike or a treadmill, I'm getting off the thing. Okay, I'm probably not doing any more than that. So if it takes 29 minutes to start burning fat, it's a pretty inefficient way to burn calories, right? But here's the thing. If you push weights, it only takes 8 to 9 minutes to start burning fat. So I just changed your entire workout. Start with the weights. Warm up, yeah, you can do 5-10 minutes on the bike, get all your blood flowing, okay, and warm up properly. Then do your weights, because you're into fat burning straight away. Then if you want to do some cardio, great, no problem. But if you've done your weights first, the moment you get on the treadmill, fat burning from day one. Here's the next thing. If you're going to be doing cardio, make sure you do interval training, not steady state. So steady state is when you're at the same pace all of the time. Like you set it on 6 and you stay at 6. You're going to burn calories for maybe half an hour after you finish working out. Interval training is when you do, 5 to 9, then back to 5. Then up to 9, then back to 5, then up to 9 on the levels on the machines, yeah? Or if you're just out for a jog, you run as fast as you can, you catch your breath to the next lamppost, then you run as fast as you can, then you catch your breath to the next lamppost. Doing that fast, slow. 1, it's a better workout for your heart. 2, you'll burn calories for up to 72 hours after your workout with interval training. Far more efficient. It's going to get your metabolism fired up for far longer. You're going to burn more calories. And this is how people go, yeah, just exercise 3 times a week. And they're in the most unbelievable shape. It's because they know how to train smart without killing themselves in the gym. And they're fueling right on the back end. As soon as you've finished exercise, you've got a window. 20 minutes, that window starts to close. You need to consume quality protein, easily digestible within 20 minutes. Otherwise, you're going to find you get injured, you're going to recover slower, you're going to get the DOMS, the delayed onset muscle soreness, which is grim. And if you want to lose weight off your tummy and belly, and you want to work on belly fat, most people go, oh my goodness, I want to work on belly fat. I'm going to do loads of sit-ups. Wasting your time, okay? You want to work on belly fat, the best thing you can do are squats and lunges. Work your legs. Why? Because your thighs and your butt are the biggest muscles in the body. They're the ones that burn the most fat. You can't spot reduce fat. You can't do sit-ups and reduce fat off your tummy. It doesn't work like that. All you do is burn calories. So use those big muscles like your thighs and bum. Anything you do with those is going to burn fat from wherever there's fat. If you got it on your tummy, it's going to burn it off your tummy. When you start getting super lean, yes, of course, do the sit-ups and then you're going to see more definition. But for most people, the definition's there. It's just got a glaze of fat on top, i.e. your 6-packs at the back of the fridge. You can't see it. Until you've shifted that body fat, you will never see definition. You're only going to shift the body fat when you've got the right nutrition going in. Okay. Tip number 9, avoid sugar. Well, you've seen why. I showed you the shocking sugar that's hidden in everything. So pasta, for example, it's one of the biggest converters to sugar. Bread, another massive converter to sugar. Potatoes. So what we want to do is I already gave you the tip, but do you know how many teaspoons of sugar the NHS guidelines are for an adult? This is going to shock you. So remember back, so there's 5 teaspoons of sugar right in a glass of orange juice. There was 14 in your toast and jam. Okay, are you ready for this? There you go. Wow. So any one of those breakfasts you saw, you've already smashed your entire day's target. You haven't even left the house. Probably 7 o'clock in the morning, and your body is already fighting a losing battle. Okay. The recommended guidelines for sugar are really low, and for your kids are smashing that before they've even finished half a bowl of their cereal. It's pretty scary. So this is the tip I gave you earlier. Total carbs divided by 5 gives you the equivalent number of teaspoons of sugar. You'll find this really enlightening. Okay. A typical daily diet, I'm going to shock you now. Okay. We're going to start with a small bowl of bran flakes. You've got, let's say 5 cups of tea during the day, and say you take 2 sugars in each cup of tea. Okay. In the morning, you've got, your energy dips, you're starving, you grab a little bottle of Lucozade and, I don't know, Whisper. Okay. Lunchtime, you want something quick and easy. You want to eat healthy. You're not going to grab something on the run. You make yourself some beans on toast at home. Okay. In the afternoon, you're pretty hungry mid-afternoon. Your energy dips. You're like, I'm not sure I'm going to get through this afternoon. And you've got some Haribos of your kids in the car. So you start picking on 15 little Haribos as you're driving along to your next meeting. In the evening, you get back, you're wrecked. You pick up little lasagna ping meal. Okay. Quick and easy, just something on the run. And then in the evening, you have a bag of Walker's Ready Salted Crisps. Okay. If I were to count out the number of teaspoons of sugar for that one day, and that's not like a massive day, you didn't eat a Domino's, you didn't, you didn't get takeaway or anything like that. That's a pretty regular day, right? It's not unachievable. That's 85 teaspoons of sugar. And when you put them together, it would fill an entire pint glass to the top full of sugar. 85. That's more than a week's worth of sugar intake in just one day. That honestly wasn't actually that bad. Okay. Guys, sugar is super toxic. It causes all kinds of dramas. If they found sugar today as like a new thing that they just discovered it would be a Class A drug. It would be banned immediately because it's so bad for the body. Yet, honestly, it's in everything. Why? Because it tastes fantastic. And it makes everything taste amazing. And what the food industry have done is they put it in everything, especially children's products, because it gets you hooked from a young age. You get a taste for it. And when we don't have it, we really notice it, don't we? We go, oh, that's bland. Oh, no, it's not sweet enough. And it's just because we're used to it. So the more you can step away from sugar and you can help just reduce your intake, it'll help you move away from that craving and that need for sugar. Okay. So when you get it right, amazing things can happen. You tweak your nutrition and gradually, day by day, week by week, making the right habits, changing, you can drop body fat. You can change your body composition. You can boost your energy. Oops. To click on that. You can reduce the aging process. This is my friend Wendy. She is 56 on the left. She is 62 on the right. She honestly, I mean, she has a body that most people would dream of. It is literally just changing her nutrition. She got her holiday pictures back on the left and went, oh, good Lord, I am fat. I'm 50. I'm unhappy. I am not being frumpy any longer. Just made a few changes. Okay. Franny, taxi driver, sitting on his backside all day, driving taxis, eating leftover beef curry for breakfast, just poor habits, dead easy to get off track. Alana, this is at Glastonbury on the left. She's actually sitting in the same place 1 year later at Glastonbury. Whole reason for losing weight. She's 20 years old on the left. She couldn't wear wellies. The whole reason she came to us is because she couldn't get her calves in wellies. And she said, I just want to be able to wear wellies next year at Glastonbury. And there she is, sporting her new wellies, 86 pound lighter. Look at her. She just looks absolutely amazing, 21 years old now. Matt and Jenny losing weight for their wedding, couple goals, looking absolutely fantastic. And this is just like literally a couple of days ago, this happened. Super exciting. So this lady, she's a mom at school, and she's dropped 15.1 kilos the 90 days between these two pictures, exactly to the day, 90 days. She's lost 89.5 centimeters, 7.5% of her body fat, 3 liters of that nasty internal fat sitting around her organs, 5.1% more hydrated. And I went, Sam, how do you feel? And she went, yeah, it's all right, that. I was like, oh my goodness. It's like, get excited. She's just not somebody who likes having a picture taken. She's not wildly excited about that. But do you know what? I'm so glad she did, because look at the difference. In fact, she showed her son the 2 pictures and he was shocked. So her son is like 9, a couple of years above my daughter. And because he's with her all the time, he hadn't noticed the difference she'd made in 90 days, and absolutely terrific. So once you make a few little changes, it's incredible what can happen. So tip 10 is, if you've seen something here and you've gone, okay, that was quite interesting, there's probably a few things that I could tweak. If you want to know what your internal fat reading is, if you want to know how much protein your body needs or how much water your body specifically needs for you, we can do a wellness evaluation. They're normally £50. I want to offer all the leading ladies one completely free. It's going to cost you nothing at all. You just need to book in. We can do your numbers for you, your hydration levels, your bone mass, absolutely everything we've talked about. We can help you to book a free appointment. Or if you're a bit curious and you're like, I don't know, I just want to come and have a nosy and see what you do, we've actually got a little nutrition workshop where I'm going to cover these points again in person. It's next Thursday. Is that next Thursday? I think it's next Thursday the 2nd of Feb. 7 p.m. Come along to our nutrition club and you get to try things. You can have a little taste. You can try lots of different samples and things. We're on 60A Hospital Street. You're more than welcome to come and see a little bit about what we do. And if you want to let me know, if you want to come and see me, that's how you find me. So thank you very much. I think you did that in 45 minutes. So there we go.
Absolutely spot on. Thank you so much, Carol. That was so informative. I've just got a question on the sugar front. So I was very guilty of eating having a lot of sugar in my diet without realizing, due to the fact that I drink loads of tea and coffee. Used to drink loads of tea and coffee. When they offer sort of alternatives like sweeteners, I'm guessing then slightly better for you, but still obviously have sugar in them.
Yeah, I just steer away from anything like that, because a lot of the sweeteners, again, some sweeteners have been caused to found cancers in laboratory rats and things like that. So the sweeteners are generally not that good for you either. No. So personally, I would just the easiest way to come off sugar, and let's face it, like I used to have loads of sugar. All I used to drink was blackcurrant and apple squash. I never got into caffeine, I've got to be honest, because I was a shooter. I didn't have a lot of caffeine in my diet because obviously I needed to keep my heart rate really low. So that wasn't something I got into, but I drank masses of sweet squash. So whether it's squash, whether it's tea and coffee and you put sugar in, just gradually put a tiny bit less. If you're putting a whole teaspoon, just put 3/4. I'm not saying, cut it out, because you're going to notice the difference, but just very gradually reduce it and just make it less sweet over time. Your taste buds will gradually adjust, and you'll get to the point where you just don't have it in. Like if I have squash now, I'm like, I can't even drink it, because to me, it tastes so sweet because I'm just not used to it now. It's just small changes. It's not about changing everything at once.
No, it is. It's making those small little adaptations to your daily life, really. And when you were just saying about sort of what somebody would eat as a normal day, I was like, I'd eat that. And then when you say how many grams of sugar in it, oh my God, it's disgusting.
It's shocking.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy. So with fruit then, is there certain fruits that are better, because you obviously have hidden sugars?
Very good. Great question. And you're right. So we have something called the glycemic index. And the glycemic index is the speed at which sugar converts. It converts into sugar in the body. And so stuff at the high glycemic end, which is the stuff that is not as good for the body, are things like, unfortunately, they're the convenient fruits, bananas, grapes, melon, sit at this end. At the other end of the scale, low glycemic index. So these actually convert to sugar a lot slower. So if you're going to go for fruit as a snack, my advice, always have fruit with protein.
Right.
So, for example, a few strawberries and a few whole almonds, good balance of a snack. Okay, because the protein will sort of balance the sugar out a little bit. Okay, so at this end of the scale, you've got berries and cherries. So it's dead easy to remember because they rhyme. So berries and cherries, thumbs up. Berries and cherries are the ones that are going to release a lot slower. They're going to have a lot less sugar in them. And they're really nice. And you can, put them in a little pot, watch your portion size, because they can be quite moreish. Again, with nuts, they've got a lot of fat in them. So you've got to be careful on portion size. The best of all of the nuts are actually whole almonds. Okay. If you start getting into cashew nuts and peanuts and things like that, peanuts, definitely watch the salt. Definitely don't get salted ones, but cashew nuts can be super high in calories and they're very moreish. Another one, pistachios are quite high in fat, but they're also really annoying to peel the little things off. So it slows you down eating them.
Yeah.
So actually, they're not a bad shout because they take so long to get out of their shells. You'll probably actually not eat that many of them.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I can advise with nuts is don't have like a big bag in your drawer or something at work. Just have a tiny Tupperware and take your small portion measured out. So you're not tempted to keep picking. Before you know it, you're like, Jesus, I just ate half a bag of nuts, and you realize you've just had 400 calories.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How many almonds would you say then in a portion would be good? Like 5 or 6 or?
No, you could probably get like 10 almonds in a portion. It's not a problem.
That's quite a nice amount. So other fruits to avoid then are like your bananas.
Melon, grapes are sort of high glycemic index. Apples, oranges, things like that probably sit middle of the road. And then your berries and cherries are low glycemic index. But good thing, if you're wanting to reduce your sugar and you want something watery, it's a good way to get a lot of water in your diet is actually through fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
So take crunchy stuff, celery, cucumber, carrot sticks, raw peppers, all those kinds of things, very water rich. They're high in fiber. They're very low calorie. You probably burn as many calories chewing a damn carrot as you will in the carrot.
Right.
So they're a great way to give you something to do if you want to get your teeth into something, but serve it, for example, as a snack with some 0% fat-free cottage cheese.
Yeah.
High protein. You've got a crunchy, delicious snack rather than a Ryvita that's going to have like a lot more carbs in it. Go for something crunchy and cottage cheese. That would be a really good snack.
Definitely. Yeah, that's brilliant. Wonderful. Thank you so much. We've got a few wow messages and things like that. B said that she's going to be in touch. And oh, sorry, I've got my voice going on 2 places now, which is quite annoying.
Feedback.
Yeah, Jodie's doing dry January, February, March as well, which is fantastic. So
well done.
So ladies, just remember that this will be uploaded onto the portal. So you've got your where your membership is. So everything is there. You can go back and refer to it. But please reach out to Carol if you have any questions. She's super, super helpful and absolutely amazing. So thank you so much tonight, Carol. I really, really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I will see you in the morning.
Take care.
Night, ladies.
Bye.
Hang on.